Hello everyone, my name is Sandy Blumenfeld and I'm a disc jockey at WNMC, College Radio 90.7, and specialize in bringing local music to our listeners live on the radio, and we decided to bring radio to television, and this is a joint effort between us and UpNorthTV. And our special guests this evening, you can hear playing in the background, are Don Julin and Billy Strings. If you follow local music at all, I'm sure you've heard of these two fellas. They've been setting the streets on fire here in Traverse City and all over the Great Lakes region, all over the state of Michigan. And you'll be hearing more and more about these guys and from these guys as time goes on. And I'm very excited to have them as our first guest on our very first show. We call this Local Radio on Television, and Locomotion is the name of the show that we do at WNMC. And this is Locomotion coming to TV. Don Julin, Billy Strings, I'm so glad that you are here to kick this off for us. And I would like to introduce you guys right now to our audience. Billy, I'm going to introduce you first because you're the young kid here, you know, and you came into town a little while ago. And I got to meet you in the studio not too long. I think about a year and a half ago I came in. You were with a group called M23 Strings, a project you had going. And I was told about you before you came in. They said, you got to see this kid. He's a phenomenal kid. And I've heard a lot of things about musicians before, but they weren't lying.
Oh, shucks.
Oh, shucks. I know. You get that all the time. But welcome. And Don Julin, who has been actually one of my heroes, local heroes, for a long, long time.
Get out of here.
Yeah, whether you know it or not. Don and I met back in the early 80s.
We did.
I was playing in a thrash band called the Red Ball Jets. We didn't know we were a thrash band, but we did thrash. And we played a few gigs with the Microtones. And Don was the guitar player. And I always knew you was a guitar player, Don. I didn't know you played mandolin until actually after those days. And
well, it was a long time ago. I think the Microtones was probably the only band that I played guitar in regularly.
Really?
Little spot appearances here and there. But,
but you could play that. You played that reggae music and those weird rhythms and beats. And Don, you must have been in your teens or not even 20 yet, were you?
Early 20s.
Early 20?
Yeah.
Okay, you were legal then.
Yeah, we were drinking. I had to be over.
Okay, all right. He was 21, folks. Yes, he was. I'll vouch for that.
Yeah.
But those are fun times, and I sort of drifted out of the music scene for a while and got back into it. Actually, a lot of it was through WNMC, through the radio, and being exposed to different music I hadn't heard before. And re-meeting you again, and young guys like Billy coming into the studio over the years. And boy, I'm just thrilled to have this thing going here, and so glad we can bring it to the folks on television so they can actually see you play.
Yeah, this is cool.
And give us just a little bit of background. We're going to have you play a couple tunes here to get started off, but how you and Billy got hooked up here, Don?
Kind of the same story that you just told. You know, when a kid like this moves to town, you hear about it. So I heard about it, and you know, it's not an exciting story. I went and introduced myself and said, hey, we should play music together sometime. We tried it. It seemed like it worked, so...
I think it did work. It's working.
Well, it's
for
working.
Sure.
So it's still a work in progress. But we tried it, less than a year ago, and it seemed like a good fit. So we're.
Yeah, I remember when you came in the studio too. You did a Locomotion show, or maybe it was a Crossroads show, one of the two. But,
in the early days.
Yeah, and you and Billy came in, and you hadn't played together, but maybe once or twice before, and you came in and just laid down some really cool stuff. And there was a lot of feedback going in between you two guys, and. Kind of visual, like calling signals the line of scrimmage. You know, you go like this and you go like that, and all of a sudden, I'm just amazed.
Well, I think we've came a long way since then.
I think we have. I hope so.
You certainly
we put a lot of hours in.
Weren't you shabby back then, though? Let me tell you.
Well, like I said right from the beginning, it seemed like a good fit for me, anyways. From the first time we played over at your house. Well, 20 minutes into it, I went, hey, we know the same language. This could work.
Yeah, the chemistry was there, you know.
And Don, for years, was involved, or is still involved, with Neptune Quartet, and you've got a lot of jazz projects going on. He's a recording engineer. Don is in the music business. You've done music just about your whole adult working life, haven't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
And Billy, you are now in full-time music, but you just had as they say, a regular job or a real job, and you're not doing that anymore.
I did. No, I put my 2 weeks in, and I'm playing music full-time now, so I sure am happy about that.
Yeah, so are we. A lot of people are. That word got around too pretty quick. Hey, Sandy, did you hear about Billy? He quit his job and he's playing music full time. So good for
He's
him.
hanging around Don and he quit his job.
Now, Don Julin was the right one for Billy Strings to get hooked up with. These two guys are going to do it. Don is known internationally. He's been to Italy doing seminars over there. He and David Grissman are good friends. You can catch them on YouTube, on videos.
There are YouTubes of me and the dog, yes.
And the dog has performed some of the songs that you have penned too. That you have.
Well, we've played together. We played some, one of my tunes together. If
Right.
that's what you're referring to.
The name of the song is
Mr. Natural.
Mr. Natural, right? And you have a CD, Mr. Natural.
Indeed, I do.
So, how many CDs do you have out? You got a bunch.
I don't know. When you count all the groups I've played in,
You're so old. You probably got some vinyl out there too, right?
Yes. Yes.
You can hit me anytime. I got Billy in between us. You can't reach me. So.
I had to dig it up the other day. Somebody requested some vinyl, some 45s that the Microtones had, and I had been telling people for the last 20-some years that I didn't have them. And a special occasion came up, and a fan of the band, a mutual friend of many of us, passed away, and they wanted to play some of that music at his memorial. So I went, all right, I'm going to dig it out.
So
I'm going to come clean.
All
I
right.
do have copies of this stuff.
All right.
So I let him have it. But no, I still have some
Very
vinyl
cool.
stashed away in a secret place in my basement.
All right. Very nice. Anyway, I want to have you two guys play. I know you've got a busy summer up ahead. We're going to talk about that, where people can catch you in concert, not only locally, but on the festival scene. And you're on TV now. This is great. I want people to see it. This is going to go on to YouTube, so you can send this all over the world.
Oh, say hey to everybody out there in TV land.
Right.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mama. We're going to take a break right now and have Don and Billy get set up to play you folks a couple tunes. Stay tuned for that.
Here's a tune called Rolling in My Sweet Baby's Arms.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I ain't gonna work on the railroad, ain't gonna work on the farm, gonna lay around the shack till the milk train comes back, rolling in my sweet baby's arms, rolling in my sweet baby's arms, rolling in my sweet baby's arms, gonna lay around the shack till the milk train comes back, rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Pick it now. Where was you last Friday night while I was lying in jail? You was walking the streets with another man and wouldn't even go my bail. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms, rolling in my sweet baby's arms, gonna lay around the shack till the mail train comes back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Do it, boy. Well, mama's a beauty operator, sister can weep and spin. Yes, daddy's got an interest in that old cotton mill. Watch that old money rolling, rolling in my sweet baby's arms, rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Gonna lay around the shack till the mail train comes back, rolling in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna lay around the shack till the mail train comes back, rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Here's a song I wrote called Dust in a Baggy. 1, 2, 3. I ain't slept in 7 days, I haven't ate in 3. This meth life of sin, it's got me in, but it's got me back in prison once again. I used my only phone call to contact my daddy. I got 20 long years for some dust in a baggie. Well, if I would have listened to my dear old mom and dad, I wouldn't be locked up in prison, troubled in the head. But I took my little pipe and sucked until my mind was spun. I got 20 years to sit and think of what I've done. This life of sin, it's got me in, Lord, it's got me back in prison once again. I used my only phone call to contact my daddy. I got 20 long years for some dust in a baggie. Blues have got me singing this here song. Well, my life is a disaster, man, and I feel so ashamed. In here where they call me by a number, not a name. This life of sin, it's got me in, Lord, it's got me back in prison once again. I used my only phone call to contact my daddy. I got 20 long years for some dust in a baggie. Yes, I used my only phone call to contact my daddy. I got 20 long years for some dust in a baggie. All right. Aye, aye, aye.
All right, back to our seated positions.
And welcome back to Radio on Television. Holy smoke, Billy. That's quite a song. You wrote that song.
I did.
I've heard you play it a few times. I think you played it in the studio on the radio a few times before, but man, you just attack it, and you got Don in there, the two of you guys. Unbelievable. Tell us a little bit about that song.
Well, it's a song I wrote about a friend of mine. When I was young, growing up, you know, I had a banjo picker that was a good friend of my dad's. I called him my uncle, you know, that's how close they were, and he was the banjo picker who I, you know, grew up listening to, and real great musician, great guy and everything, but he liked to dabble, you know. That song's about methamphetamine. Mm-hmm. So he got mixed up into that whole bunch and got himself locked up, and then he spent 5 years in prison, and then got out, and about a month later he was right back in there because they caught him with a little dust in a baggie.
20 long years for dust in a baggie.
Yeah, he's still in there today.
Man, that's quite a song. And you wrote that, what, last year, 2 years ago? How long ago was that?
Oh, I don't know.
But you were like a teenager when you wrote that song. That's pretty heady stuff, seeing through all that. And,
I wrote it last year, I think. Maybe,
you're 19.
Maybe a year ago.
He's an old man. Now 20. And Don, you're singing. You know, I've seen you play for 30, 40 years now, and I've never heard you sing too much. But,
you and everybody else.
You are singing, and you are singing. I mean, you're singing.
I'm working on it. That's really a work in progress. It's a brand new thing.
That's very cool. It looks like you're enjoying doing it, too.
I am.
It's really fun to watch you guys play. Little Bohemia, these guys can be seen at Little Bohemia every Thursday night on a regular basis.
Yes, indeed.
And check the newspaper, you have a website up there. So
yeah, we're easy to find. You can find us at donjulin.com or look either one of us up on Facebook. No, we're all over that newfangled internet, you know.
Yeah, if you're up at 2 or 3 in the morning, as I often am, just Google Billy Strings or Don Julin and just sit back there and watch file after file of these guys picking and playing, and it's amazing. In fact, I want to have you guys do a little demonstration. This is sort of off-the-cuff show. This is our very first show, and you've got your instruments in hand. And Don, you're a mandolin player at birth, That's what I was told. And so, you know, and for years I thought you were a guitar player. For years.
Well,
and you play guitar in the Neptune Quartet. I've seen you play in
mandolin
jazz and
wouldn't.
stuff like that.
Yeah, and mandolin wouldn't have been the right instrument.
And with
back in the
right.
microtones when we met, that wouldn't have been the right instrument.
But you play banjo and you play
tenor banjo. Yeah, you know, I'm a
play
dabbler.
that stuff. Yeah, you play that stuff. But the mandolin is just amazing what you've done on that and your connections in the mandolin world. And plus, Don is an author. You ever read any books for dummies? Get the mandolin book for dummies. I have it at home. I was going to bring it in to get Don's autograph today, and I spaced it out again.
Yeah, that was quite an honor.
That was a great book. I mean,
I'm do that.
And even just to pick it, even if you don't play mandolin, I mean, there's so many good tips in there about just playing and performing and things like that that really helped me along. And,
cool, man.
And your instrument there is pretty souped up too. What Billy was showing me, your frets.
Oh yeah, I like these big cheater frets.
That's what you call them?
Well,
I don't think you're a cheater. You're hitting all those notes, man.
Yeah, some folks like the really tiny ones, but I've always been drawn to the big round frets. And
the notes are so clean and clear on your mandolin. I've heard a lot of mandolin players, and a lot of it's a rhythm instrument. I understand that, so there are a lot of muted chords and stuff that you play. But you make those chords ring, man.
That might be part of it. More steel gives you a little more.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Because there was a couple breaks you pulled out of there, and you just hit this chord and just rang and rang. Wow.
That's a great sound in mandolin too.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It is.
And Don gives lessons and does seminars. You have 88 strings. Is that still ongoing?
Currently not, but it might come back. I'm just busy with too many other projects right now.
What is that?
88 Strings is a community guitar and mandolin orchestra. Yeah, you've never seen it.
Plucked instruments.
Plucked instruments. So sometime a banjo, some basses,
ukuleles.
Yep, ukuleles, and I write out arrangements and we play.
Milliken Auditorium, I remember that concert you did there. It was wonderful.
Yeah, but right now it's a lot of work. So right now I'm not doing it. So
that book was a lot of work too.
Yeah, that's the story of my life. A lot of work. But it's all fun. It's hardly work when you're holding a mandolin, you know?
And you give lessons?
I do. I give lessons and anything having to do with the mandolin. You know?
All right. So why don't you show some folks just basic technique stuff.
Holy cow.
On the mandolin, some chops. You hear this thing about chopping chords and then playing individual notes and how you run those two together. And we have a lot of musicians that watch this stuff, and a lot of musicians that listen to Locomotion.
All right.
So I describe what the folks are playing when they come in the studio.
Well, if we played a little ditty, even just 30 seconds or something, we could kind of talk about what it is. Yeah. It's kind of hard to just pull a lick out of thin air. What would be a good thing to play a little bit of?
How about the Bluegrass Stomp or something like that?
That's the funniest thing about me and Billy. is we have yet to work off a set list when we play gigs. And at least a couple times a set, what just happens. I was about to say Bluegrass Stomp, and he said,
each other's
we were on a gig the other night, and we looked at each other, and we said the complete name of the song, like completely in unison, like as if it was rehearsed. I don't remember what song it was.
Riding on that midnight train.
Yeah, but we both just looked at each other, just syllable for syllable right together, and it's there's something about it. Maybe that's why we play well together. We're kind of
it's
somehow
kind of creepy, man.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Oh, it's not.
Sure it is. All right, so we'll play a little bit of a Bill Monroe tune called the Bluegrass Stomp. I'll just go through it twice, and we'll just talk about what's going on in this tune a little bit.
Excellent.
1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so what's going on there? I don't know how in depth you want to go. That's one of the oldest American music forms, maybe the only truly American music form. It's the 12-bar blues.
Okay.
Done Bill Monroe style.
Right.
So it's a 12-bar blues in the key of D. Those of you who know something about music might be able to figure out that there's 3 chords, D, G, and A. But it's a blues, and I think blues is such a big part of American music. It's kind of the defining part of American music. So there's, you know, there's Delta blues, and there's big city blues, there's electric blues, there's, you know, big band blues, there's John Coltrane plays blues. Bill Monroe, that's Bill Monroe's take on blues.
Right, the 12-bar, 1-4-5 chord.
Yep, 12-bar, and when it comes to mandolin, this kind of down-picking style. Opposed to like when we play fast songs, where you could hear this kind of style.
Going up and down,
Yeah, that more fiddle tune kind of style. So he kind of developed a bluesy style on the mandolin.
Yeah, I love Bill Monroe.
Yeah.
I do a lot of his stuff. It's very cool stuff.
Yeah, he's a
Billy,
very important mandolin player in the development of mandolin.
And Billy was strumming some nice chords, keeping the rhythm going. And
Yeah, you can tell you what he's doing.
Well, basically just trying to hold the rhythm down, you know, and let him do his thing. And just kind of. You know.
Yep.
Try not to do too much.
How can you hold back? Do you have to hold yourself back
bluegrass
sometimes?
is like baseball, man. It's like, you know, when he's taking his lead, it's like his turn up to bat.
Right, you got to shut up.
Yeah.
Just keep it
Well, you're
going
in support.
Yeah,
Not necessarily shut up, but you know, I like to think of it when he's playing a solo or playing a lead, that I have to really pay attention and support and do everything that I can do that's going to encourage him to play the coolest stuff and let him know I'm right there.
Right,
that if he takes a funny turn, I'm going to be there with him. The last thing you want to do is think that the rhythm part is not important, because then you disengage from the music and you lose that kind of...
But you see so many players out there that one guy takes the lead and all of a sudden there's another guy plucking away too, you know.
Well,
you know, they get real busy sometimes. That's what's so cool about your stuff. You guys know when to...
I just think it's... I think you just got to listen.
When to lay it down and you listen to...
That's why people don't like banjo players. You just keep picking away.
We're going to leave banjos out of this for right now.
Well, there's no banjos here.
No offense, banjo players.
But the same thing, you know, for him, when he's taking a lead, yeah, I'm just a lot of times doing chords, but I throw the little 7th chords in there and stuff like that.
Little color stuff, yeah.
And if we were playing a different tune, you know, like a fiddle tune or something, I might, you know, instead of just playing straight, you know, I'm going to play like, and I might add like a little lick here and there to complement what he's doing, you know.
Right, that's akin to a bass line you're playing too, with the,
Yeah.
and the fat strings up there, and having the bass
Yeah,
going.
bluegrass guitar has got some really cool elements in it. It's a really cool style you got going on there, guy.
So where'd you learn how to play like that? Tell us.
My dad.
Your dad. I had you guys on the radio once, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I still got the little CD that you gave me. I listened to it now and then.
And you started playing, how old were you when you started playing?
Oh, well, I don't remember not playing.
Okay.
I must have got my first guitar when I was 4 years old, I think. You know. Before that, I had a little plastic guitar. It was, you know, had buttons on it, and I'd sit in my high chair and just kind of...
Yeah, and your dad said you had rhythm back then.
He did say that.
Yeah, so
Yep.
that's how it all starts.
One day we were walking through this antique store in Ionia, and I saw this guitar hanging up on the wall, and I just threw a fit, kicking and screaming, I want it!
Yeah, tantrums are good sometimes.
Well, you know, my dad didn't have much money, but he took his last little $20 and bought me that guitar, and I stuck with it. You know, he taught me some chords, and I learned them quick, and, you know, in the next 2 or 3 years, I learned a lot of fiddle tunes, you know, Salt Creek and Beaumont Rag and stuff like that. And those are, to me, the really good songs to learn at a young age, you know. They're very structured.
Maybe we should demonstrate a little bit of that. That would be totally opposite of the Bill Monroe
Because,
blues. Play just a little bit of a fiddle tune that you're talking about, and I'll back you up.
So let's do the Beaumont Rag. I'll tell a story about this song, too. When I was learning this, I remember I was about 6 years old. A lot of times, me and
6 years old, okay, go ahead.
Well, 6 or 7. No, I was 6 years old.
I was just thinking what I was doing when I was 6. I wasn't playing guitar.
Well, so a lot of times my dad and I would just go into his bedroom and kind of lock the door, lock my brother and my mom out, and he'd teach me these things, and I could play. I knew G, C, and D by that time, and F, I think. And well, his lead was this. So he's playing something like that, and I was trying to play the rhythm behind him. And when we got to the B part, every time when we got to the second part, those chord changes, I kept messing it up, and I got really frustrated, and right in the middle of the song one time I said, "Stop, just quit, just you just play it, and I just want to listen." And that's when I learned I really had a good ear for it, is because I sat back and listened to what he was doing, and I knew, when he hit, that's that's the time to go back to the other chords. So I wasn't counting it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I was just kind of listening to what my dad was doing.
You could hear where it was going.
Yeah, and so I listened to him play it all the way through, and then the next time around I just nailed it, and he was so proud, and that was kind of one of the defining moments.
That was at 6 years old, too. 6 years old.
Yeah. Well, I think there's video footage somewhere.
I've never seen you use a tuner either. All the times I've not seen you play, I've never seen a tuner.
Oh, he's fooling you.
Yeah, but I've seen him not use that. He's got a pretty darn good ear.
Oh, yeah.
As do you. I mean, most good accomplished musicians that play all the time, after a while, you develop an ear for it.
Mandolins are more in tune since the modern age of clip-on digital tuners.
Well, it's such a short little
Yeah,
span there too.
Yeah,
you know?
They sound so nasty when they're out of tune.
You got all those strings competing with one another sometimes. Can be a din.
Well, where are we going here?
Well, we're going to have you guys play a few more tunes here for the folks. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the concert and the seminar you guys did with the Cobb Brothers, because we have some clips of that Michael can put up on the screen for the folks to see. And what went on there. And,
cool.
And talk a little bit about your summer, too, and upcoming concerts that you're aware of, any festivals that you're already hooked up into and where you're going to be and stuff like that. And whatever else I can figure out while you're playing.
All right.
This is radio and television, folks. We kind of wing it over there at WNMC, and I'm one of the guilty parties. And this is our first time on television, for sure. And I have my boss in the wings, which is great. And we've got Michael producing the show. He's a wonderful producer and does excellent video and audio work. And I've got the best guest one could possibly have on for an inaugural show, that's for sure. So
thanks, Sandy.
Thanks again for coming in, folks. And play us a couple more tunes, will you?
All right.
All right.
Here's a tune called Sitting on Top of the World. 1, 2. Was in the spring, one sunny day. My good girl left me, Lord, she went away. Now she's gone, I don't worry. Yes, I'm sitting here on top of the world. She called me up from El Paso, said, come back, Daddy, I need you so. Now she's gone, I don't worry. Yes, I'm sitting here on top of the world. Do it, boy. Sitting here on top of the world.
Welcome back. That was quite a set you guys played right there. Man, that thing smoked. Sitting on Top of the World. I love that song, and I've heard a lot of people do it, and the fun thing about that song is you never know how it's going to come out sometimes, and you fooled a lot of folks out there. I think you fooled me. There's some pretty cool stuff to be in there. You guys are doing.
Well, we don't know how it's going to come out, you know. We know where it starts and where it ends, but everything in between is kind of just however it comes out, you know.
And you get that rapport going back and forth and just feed off it. It's very cool. It's easy for the folks to see out there too, I'm sure. The Cobb Brothers, I wanted to get to that. Recently you guys did a workshop with them, and tell the folks a little bit about the Cobb Brothers. And the nice thing is that you guys get to hook up with these guys and perform with them too. These
that is a nice thing. You got that right.
So practice, 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 folks. And I know you guys practice a lot. They don't just come in here and play, and they work at it. So tell us about the Cobb Brothers.
I don't know how far back you want to go. The Cobb Brothers were, I think there's 6 or 7 of them, and they performed as kids.
Mm-hmm.
And their dad played bass, I believe. But they were from Wisconsin. I remember first running into them at Bliss Festival many years ago. In fact, I think I was doing sound, but I don't think we've ever even talked about that. But that was my first encounter with those guys. And they were awesome. They were, they were just amazing players. So fast forward to last summer, I was helping out at the Mandolin Symposium out in Santa Cruz, where they have like the greatest mandolin teachers in the world. Mm-hmm. And Jesse was on staff last year, so we met. So we got to hang out and play and become friends somewhat. And he sent me a message a few months back saying, "Hey man, I'm coming through the area, possibly with my brother. Is there anywhere that we could get a gig?" And I thought, well, better yet, why don't we organize one for you? Seeing we have somewhat of a following going on here.
Sure.
And we figured that we would just put on the show and we would promote it ourselves. And because Jesse's a teacher also, we offered a workshop in the afternoon. So it was a way, for those of you who aren't familiar with workshops, musicians pay a fee to basically be 5 feet away from guys like this for 90 minutes. And
how do you do that?
Yeah, right. And there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
And but to see them work their magic from a few feet away is really different than what you see on the stage. It's more casual, and you can ask.
Sure.
Hey, what was that one chord you were playing there? What's going on there? So it's a real educational thing for students of any instrument. I mean, Jesse's primarily known as a mandolin player, and Chad is probably most famous for fiddle, but did you notice when he picked up the guitar, man?
Pretty good, man.
Anything.
He blew me away. Anything he picked up was like...
Oh, yeah, the banjo, too. He played some clawhammer banjo.
Yeah, so anyways, these guys were great. Jesse got a hold of me and said, "We're coming through the area, can you hook us up?" So we basically took a chance and said, yeah, we think we can. And thanks to all the people of Traverse City.
Worked out well. I was there for a while. I had to split.
Yeah, we had a great turnout.
Yeah.
There was plenty of students that came for the workshop, and a ton of people came out for the show, and we were the opening act, and they did their magic. Then we all actually played a couple tunes together.
Cool. I think Michael's got some clips of that too. We're going to see a little bit later in the show that he can run.
But these guys are great. I mean, Jesse had a band up till last year. He was with the infamous String Dusters, which are a pretty famous band on the bluegrass jam band circuit. Playing to thousands and thousands and thousands of people at outdoor concerts. And his brother Shad has been in Nashville for a bunch of years, and so his resume is like crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing to find out some of the stories of these people that you see playing and how deep they go with not only their connections with others, but how long they've been playing and where they end up and the family history and how does it happen? Well, just like you. When people see you pick and they don't know who you are and you're 20 years old, I wonder how you got started. Well, they learned a little bit today how you got started. And Don, the same way with you. I first met you as a guitar player, and I did not know about the mandolin until a little bit later, and I said, wow. And that is your main instrument, and always has been. Mm-hmm. So that's very cool things to learn. And I want to say something about the way you dress, too. You made me dress up a little bit today. Typically, doing a show on the radio, we can wear anything we want. And we always joke about having a face or clothes for radio. But this is radio on television. You see the old radio we got here? It's one of the original boom boxes right there behind us.
All right, cool.
But you guys not only dress for the show today, you dress for every performance, and I think that's a very cool thing. It reminds you of the Bill Monroes and the groups out there that actually respect the crowds they play for and the music that they play, and they show it by the way they dress. They don't come out in holy T-shirts and sandals and stuff like that. And
but I think Monroe started it because he didn't want to come out in like bib overalls, and he didn't like that hayseed.
The hillbilly.
Yeah, he didn't really go for that. So in the early days, before they wore suits, they actually wore like riding, like horse riding stuff.
Oh, really?
Oh,
like
big
jodhpurs and stuff
yeah,
like
big
that?
tall boots and the puffy pants.
Yeah, jodhpurs, man.
Patriot, gentleman's hat and stuff like that.
But they traded that in for the suits and the cowboy hats. But yeah, it's just,
I think it's very respectful.
it's a
the
show.
Stuff you
want to
do.
look good. You want to sound good.
Yeah.
What the heck?
It's acting.
Yeah, we're acting.
With skill.
Thanks again for coming in. Much obliged, and all those accolades towards your playing.
Yeah, man.
Billy,
thank you for having us.
it was
And
so
thank you
nice
for
to-
all that you have done. For the
Oh,
local
for sure,
music
man. I
scene.
love it, man.
No, man. No,
So-
you're the man.
well, I
You've
really
been
enjoyed doing
you've been
this.
promoting it down in the trenches, promoting us for years and years. And
Well, I thank you for that, and I love doing it, and I'm looking forward to this TV show, radio and television. And we will be back with more. We plan to do a series of shows, and as we promised, the Cobb Brothers coming to you right now.